Finally, we come to cluster correction. In the last video, we used MRI GLM fit to test the significance of parameter and contrast estimates at each vertex. However, we need to correct for the number of tests that we do. One of the most popular correction methods is cluster correction, which calculates the significance of clusters based on the amount of smoothing and how many individually significant vertices are contiguous. This script is similar to the others in its loop structure. The options for MRI GLM fit sim are to specify the directory that contains your contrasts. Cluster correction will then be run for each contrast in that directory. The cache option specifies the cluster forming threshold, or what the significance level is for each individual vertex, and also whether you are doing a directional or non-directional test. Remember that FreeSurfer uses negative log 10 notation. In other words, 1.3 corresponds to a cluster forming threshold of 0.05 per vertex. These are cached values for the cluster simulations, which means they have already been run. Your options for the direction of the test are pos for positive, neg for negative, and abs for absolute, or a two-tailed test. Lastly, CWP specifies the cluster-wise threshold, or the significance threshold for the clusters. For most purposes, 0.05 is fine. 2 spaces means to correct for doing tests on both the left and right hemispheres. If you are only interested in one hemisphere, you can omit this. Run this script with tcsh run clussims cannabis study. If it runs without error, you will see new files created in each GLM directory. For example, go to the directory lh-volume cannabis study 10.glmdir hc-cb. The names of the files contain the cluster forming threshold and the sign of the test that you did. The most important files are 1. The summary file, which is a text file listing the size and locations of the significant clusters, and 2. The MGH file, which can be overlaid on the FSAverage template. You can use these files to make figures and tables of your significant clusters. Next, we're going to wrap up with correlation analyses and region of interest analyses. See you soon.